episode 105, How to Make Ends Meet Without Getting a Side Hustle.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name's Jill.
And today we are doing another special episode about how to get your finances together in this really weird financial time right now. We altered some of our schedule to fit this in, and
it's so necessary. I mean, we're still wondering how long is this going to last, and what do we need to be thinking about and considering and taking care of our budgets. And even, I know one of the things you wanted to talk about is just not getting a side hustle on top of this. I know so many times we talk about, add more to your plate, and sometimes it's just all you can do to figure out what you currently have going on.
Yeah, and it's still a lot of people are out of work, and a lot of the work people did on the side, or I know at least for me, like as a freelancer, a lot of the work that I could have been doing is on hold right now. And so that limits a lot of people's options. So this is a simple episode about how to make ends meet. And the number one answer is not going to be make more money, because that is the number one answer on a lot of.
I mean, if you can, sure, go do that. Yeah. But then beyond that, we'll talk about, and then even what you need to think about it to recover once this does come, once the dust settles a bit more. Now, what do we need to be setting our sights on? Because it's going to look a lot different than before.
Yeah, and then we'll talk a little about the stimulus check as well.
Awesome.
So, first, our sponsors.
So Current, this is a new one. It's a mobile bank with an awesome user interface. They've got no overdraft fees, no minimum balance requirements. It's an app that has a free built-in budgeting tool, gives you purchase notifications and insight to your spending. And premium users can even break up their savings account into different pods, which is super helpful. And if you're saving for multiple things at once, it's especially helpful.
Yeah.
And when you set up a direct deposit, you can get paid for up to 2 days early. That's amazing. So if you're looking for another bank account to hold your emergency fund or something big you're saving for, then you're definitely going to want to try Current, because we're giving $10 to the first 10 people who sign up using our promo code FrugalFriends for each episode. So that's Frugal Friends, all one word.
Yes.
If you found this podcast, you know how to use the promo code.
Yeah. Our episode is also brought to you by online courses that don't cost a lot and actually help people. Y'all ever gone to a blog, downloaded a free template, and find out the creator has a course, but it's like $400? No, thank you. Or you find one that's $30 and you buy it and you're like, I already knew all this stuff. Online courses that don't cost a lot and actually help people are here to solve that problem. You know how we know they're affordable? Because I'd actually pay it, and I don't buy stuff. And you know how we know it helps people? Because people tried it and they said so. Online courses that don't cost a lot and actually help people. Because some stuff you can find for free on the internet, and some stuff you can't. Yeah.
And they tried it, and they said so.
Yeah.
How do you spell that? How do you spell and they said so?
You'll have to check out the show notes to see how that's spelled. But yeah, so I have an online course that I launched in January, and we took 90 people through it.
That's amazing.
It's called 5 Weeks to 500, and it helps you save $500 extra over the course of 5 weeks. And people really had a lot of great things to say, so I am relaunching it right now. It opens today. Enrollment closes next Thursday. So you've got 7 days to enroll. You can go to 5weeksto500.com. That's the number 5 and the number 500. And check out more info. And a lot of people found it really useful. I've revamped it to be more relevant for what we're going through right now.
Nice.
So it's less than $50, and it will help you save a lot of money going forward through this like challenging time, and then also long term.
Nice. Which, if you're listening to this real time, it's April 24th, 2020.
Yes. And and registration is open through April 30th.
Nice.
All right.
Exciting.
So let's talk about making ends meet without getting a side hustle.
Yeah.
The first article that we're going to go through has a lot to do with mindset. It's from don'twasteyourmoney.com. And it's 5 tips for getting back on your feet after a financial disaster. And this article is kind of talking about any financial disaster, but I think that it's super relevant right now.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, the author's coming from the perspective of a personal financial crisis, wrapped up in relational issues and all kinds of other things, which we know they are intertwined. And so this is, even right now, what we're going through is probably bringing up all other kinds of layers relationally.
For sure.
But yeah, so we're going to go through the 5 tips. The first one is to know what you own and know what you owe. So essentially saying, let's get a handle on what we're even looking at. We can't make ends meet. We can't solve any problems if we don't even know what the problem is. And so certainly this is a time to refocus on what you own, and what you owe on what you own. And this might sound really simple, but there are a lot of people, and if this is you, you're not alone, who kind of go on autopilot with buying things, using credit cards, loaning, going on payments to even buy furniture. Like it's common practice. And I think as long as we've got money coming in, we just kind of keep going. But it's times like this when who knows where our finances are going to go, to say, all right, what are we looking at? What do we owe on different things? What do we own? To really figure out what it is that you're working with, how much debt you're potentially in, what it is that you're spending money on, and go from there.
Yeah. And it could be on the other side of the spectrum too. You could be really worried and anxious about it, and you just kind of list everything out. Look at what your bills are, look at what your debts are, and you might see that it might just take a little bit of tweaking of the budget, and you're okay. But get over that fear of actually listing everything out, because it may not be as bad as you think it is. And if it is, then it's never going to get worse than it is right now. You can only go up from here as soon as you start.
Yeah, that is the starting point. It can be scary or it might not be scary.
Yeah, it's usually scary. The second thing is to drain the emotion from your decisions. I know that for me, I've been super anxious the past several weeks, and I'm not typically anxious. So I can only imagine what other people are going through. And that emotion, that anxiety, the fear, I'm sure that we've seen it impact a lot of people's spending decisions. Hashtag toilet paper. So try to separate the emotion from your decision. Stop impulsive spending. Really look at what you need and why you need it. Stop it with the treat yourself spending. Like, I know being at home is difficult. I know not working is difficult, but the more we try and make ourselves feel better with online purchases or drive-through purchases, the deeper we get into this cycle. And it's creating habits that might persist once all of this is over. So just make sure you identify those and cut them off. Let's try and be really practical about the spending we do right now.
Yeah, and the worse we feel about it afterwards, too. It's like temporary relief, but then long term, it just kind of keeps perpetuating the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so the third one on this list is to take clear-eyed and bold action. And this is just speaking to, it might take a big, swift move towards drastic changes in your budget and the way that you approach finances. This may not be the time where just cutting out your morning latte is going to do it. This might mean some really difficult breaking of habits, but also setting of new habits, being okay with going without on certain things or even luxuries. And I think just the time to hunker down and find the motivation to take very clear and, as it says, bold actions in the direction of making your money work when everything is so chaotic or there's not a lot of money.
Yeah. So that means like saying no to family that might be asking for money, or making other decisions that other people may not agree with or might be out of your character, but are you moving in the like right direction for you at this point? You're turning over a new leaf and you are beginning to just make the decisions that are right for you. And I think something that goes along with that too is like, don't play the victim. Like, there are a lot of things that are happening to you, but they are the same things that are happening to millions of other people around the world. And we are all sad for each other, but I don't think any of us are direct victims in this. And so just separating yourself from that too, and saying like, I am in control of where I go from here. I am in control of what I do now. Things are not happening to me. I am reacting and acting in the midst of things happening.
Yeah, nice.
The fourth is to build a support team. You can't do this on your own. And I know I'm a proud person, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I like to believe I can do it on my own. But there are many reasons that I can't, and I have to rely on other people, not just financially, but emotionally too. So, I mean, that's meaning if you are suffering from anxiety and depression, like you are seeing somebody virtually or in person to get help with that. You are surrounding yourself with good family and friends via like Zoom happy hours or whatever, like digital card games. Establish your community and reach out to them. Even if that's out of your character, I understand it's out of my character. But you need people to support you in this, and you need the right people. You don't need people that are gonna like tell you you're a victim and make you feel bad about things you spend, or make you feel good about spending money you shouldn't. Like, choose healthy people to be on your team.
Yeah, this time really exposes our vulnerabilities. So much has been stripped away, whether that's job loss or, the ability to be social. So much has been taken, and I think it's important to find ways to be able to regain some of that control, but also learn ways to protect that vulnerability, which can be surrounding yourself with trustworthy people. That the more and more you isolate, even when it's so easy to do that right now, just the greater and greater the impact of the distressing things are going to have. So finding people who are going to help you. And last on this list is, they say, rely on the best expert on your finances, which is you. And this is an interesting one because we are not all financial planners or experts on finances. However, we are the experts with our own finances, or at least the ones who are able to make the decisions that are going to be best for us. Certainly, this would mean research. This would mean consultation with people who are experts. But ultimately, this relies on us. No one else is going to do this for us. No one else is going to dig us up out of the rut, make our budgets work, make the ends meet. That's on us. And I think sometimes we can fall back into this trap, similar to what you were saying about being the victim of, I can't do that. I'm not good with numbers. I don't know. I can't do it. I don't know a calculator. I'm not a nerd. Well, if you can add and subtract, you can do your budget. You can figure out your finances, and you can fill in the rest with additional resources and research. I think at the end of the day, you've got to make the moves in this, and you've got to take control rather than playing the victim to whatever you think is happening to you with your finances.
You are the CEO of your life. And if you kind of view it in that way, like CEOs don't know everything about everybody and everything going on at their company. They delegate the things they're not good at. But they still take on the hard tasks that their employees like can't do. You are the CEO of your life. So the things you can't do, there are apps and software programs that can help you. But you ultimately have to make the hard decisions for your life, for your company. That comes down to you. Nobody's going to do it for you. So just keep telling yourself, like, I am the CEO. I am the CEO. Like, I am the most important person in this company of me. And, like, I'm going to delegate what I can't do, and I'm going to make the hard decisions when I have to, because that's my job. That's adulting.
It is adulting. I know this is what scares people about being an adult. But there's friends and community and support to help you through that.
Yes. So our next article is from Mulanami. I can't say that word.
Mulanami.
It's like
Mulanami.
It's a two words put together. It's moolah and economy put together. So think of that.
Yeah.
And that's the name of this blog.com.
It's not an economy of cows.
No.
It's money.
No. Money. And it is 10 tips for surviving on a limited budget.
Yes.
And we're not going to go through all 10, but definitely going to share our faves.
Yeah. So I liked number 1 on here, which is fine-tune your budget. You're going to hear me say it again and again.
It's that CEO thing.
Yeah.
So you have, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants that to be the first one on the list. But it is.
If you've not done your budget, you should probably just turn this podcast off real quick and go do that. And then come back on and listen to the rest of it.
Listen to the rest,
So I think sometimes we can think, all right, there's no wiggle room. I've got my budget pretty well hammered out, or I don't have a budget. Yeah, in which case I already spoke to you. But I would say look again, especially in times of financial crisis. We can think, it's I'm bare bones. Look again. Look again. Look at the numbers. Look again.
Hashtag look again.
Yeah. Guaranteed, if you are not looking at your budget often, there is wiggle room. There is something that can be cut, that can be trimmed, that can be eliminated, that can be combined, whatever you want to do. There is wiggle room in there. Call Jen. She'll find it for you.
And it doesn't have to be long term. Like this budget, the budget is fluid. You do not set it and forget it.
Yeah.
You revisit it often. And so if you are cutting a lot out right now, that doesn't mean you're going to be cutting a lot out forever. This is a unique time, and you are going to have a unique budget for this time.
You can slice and dice something for the time being that will eventually come back into place. So, that's disappointing, but it's not a loss for forever.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And then number 2, stick with the basics. So again, this is a really unique time. And so we don't have to be creating these normal meal plans. We don't have to have a normal time with kids. Like, it's okay. Your kids are sitting in front of, like, nanny TV, and that's how I was raised. I turned out just fine. But, like, they don't have to be doing crafts. They don't have to be going, like, to parks, as we've already been seeing. Like, you just can't. So, and it's the same with your finances. Like, beans and rice, Italian, Mexican, like, just having these staple things you do every week, something that's predictable, so that you don't have to think very hard, because chances are you're thinking really hard about a lot of other things, and that's giving you decision fatigue. So when we go into decision fatigue, we'll make the really easy decisions, and then the difficult decisions suffer because our brains are expended. And that's when we can't carry out our CEO duties of making good decisions for our company. I'm running with this.
I'm running with it. Yeah, we're not getting away from it.
Yeah, and so you have to make as few decisions as possible. So set up simple systems and bring things back to the basics. This is not a time to become Iron Chef, though I'm sure many of you have tried.
Yeah.
I'm in quarantine. I'm going to make lavish meals. You've probably already failed by now.
That lasted 2 days.
Yeah, that lasted.
Nice try.
Yeah. So, like, don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
It's fine. You were set up to fail from the beginning.
I like what you're getting at as far as freeing up emotional and mental resource and recognizing that we need that to be able to pay attention to our finances and make money. If we kind of expend all of that in some of these peripheral areas, it really can rob from the more essential priority things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I also liked number 4 on here, which is downsize your life. So you may not even realize how much stuff you have. I know I didn't. I mean, Eric and I live in 170 square feet, and we've moved just about every year of our marriage, which is coming up on 8 years. So those are fun percentages. But every single time we move, of course, it kind of leads to this purge of stuff. And we live small, and we still comment on how much we've collected. So I know we're not alone in that. Like, guaranteed, we all have a ton of stuff. And this could be a time to look at not only what do I have that I could sell to be able to make some money to beef up my emergency fund, but also what do I have that, again, is taking up mental and emotional space that I could get rid of to just free myself up a little bit, but also what can I get rid of that I'm not spending time, energy, and money to maintain? I think sometimes we run into obstacles and we still try to figure out ways to make status quo work. All right, I got obstacles coming at me, but how do I make sure we are still operating up here? And this time, any financial crisis or uncertainty requires a change of perspective to bring it down a couple of notches and say, no, we're not status quo. It's not life as usual. We've got to make perspective changes. We've got to make some hard shifts in the way that we're living and the way that we're spending, not just how do I keep up, how do I keep going with where I'm living when my finances aren't there. Okay, then shift. It might even mean moving. I don't want to be dramatic, but for some people, it could mean, do I have too large of a house that it's just stressing me out? Do I have too many vehicles? Is my car payment just way too much money? And if I didn't have it, then I wouldn't have to be worried about making ends meet. So again, you're going to have to make the decisions that are right for you and right for your family. But I do think that these types of times call for thinking outside the box and changing our perspective.
Yeah. And simplifying your space translates into simpler spending. When you are surrounded by clutter, it clutters your mind, and like in reality it does clutter your mind, and it impacts your decision making. And with a simpler space, a simpler schedule, a simpler meal plan, you have more room to make better decisions. So, I mean, and all spending really is, staying in budget is just about deciding to do the right thing when you open your wallet. It's deciding to open it or to not open it. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. So just do everything in your power to set your surroundings up to make those better decisions.
I like it.
Yeah. The next one that I liked was don't utilize credit. This would be a really easy time to apply for a credit card just in case.
Oh, and they're hunting you down. They want you to.
Yeah, and I love credit cards for travel hacking purposes, so you will never hear me speak bad about a travel rewards credit card. but I don't have one because I need it. I don't have it just in case. I have it and I pay it off every month. And I would do the same thing with a debit card. So don't get one right now because you are only setting yourself up for future financial turmoil.
It's possible some people are just dipping into credit. And I will say, please, if there's any way to not do that, you'll only be doing yourself a service to avoid using credit right now, like you said, Jen, because of the further financial impact that will have down the road to be surviving off of it right now. It is far better to make some drastic changes in your spending than to go into further debt. Okay, number 6 on here is shop outside the box. So this is talking about when you are spending, how can you cut? So going to farmers markets if you have them nearby, or even like roadside stands, dollar stores, thrift stores for essentials if they're open. I mean, or just not spending ultimately. But.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things right now for spending, since a lot of things are at the time of this recording closed. Not sure how it will be when this comes out, but eBay and Facebook Marketplace, those will never shut down. So, I mean, just use your best judgment when ordering. But we always say this, if you need something, think used first. Choose secondhand first. Just check to see if it's available secondhand before you go buy it new. You don't have to wait forever to find it secondhand. Just check and do your due diligence before you automatically buy new.
Yeah, and look around the house. See what you already have that you can reuse.
Last on the list that we're going to go over is number 10, plan for the big picture. A real problem we have in the middle class is that we are focused on the here and now, and we make decisions for a month out, a few months out, if we are lucky, maybe a year out, if we think we're smart. But other people that have wealth, plan for the big picture. And it's not even necessarily because they have enough money to plan for the big picture. They were raised probably, I don't know, or acquired this knowledge to think of the long-term implications of their current choices. So whenever you are making a choice, a decision to spend or not to spend, think about the ramifications it will have long-term. And that is different for everyone. So I'm not even going to give any examples, but for you what your purchases are going to look like long-term. You know what it's going to look like if you decide to move or give up your car or whatever. And I would say most of the time, those long-term implications, if you're giving something up and spending less, are going to be inherently positive. But start to change your mindset to be one of thinking about the big picture, not just the immediate result of your spending.
Yeah, and again, that's taking some of the emotions out of what I want right now, what I think will give me instant gratification versus the long term.
Yeah. You know what else is long term that I mean, so part of my big picture.
But also instant gratification. The Bill of the Week!
That's right! It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. I am calling to tell you about my favorite bill, which is the monthly bill I pay to the Financial Gym. The Financial Gym is a place where anybody at any level of finance or income experience can go get professional help with their money. And now more than ever, I am so thankful to have my financial trainer, Sarah, helping me through this crazy time of social isolation and all of this madness. So I have never been more thankful to be a member of the financial gym. I pay this bill every single month, but it is the best bill I pay, and I really think that everybody could gain some help from a professional financial trainer.
Awesome. Yeah, I have heard of the financial gym.
I
Really
hadn't.
good. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So highly recommend if you are looking for a financial trainer, you can search the financial gym.
I mean, I have used those metaphors of stretching muscles, exercising muscles.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Well,
there you go. Go to the
thank
financial
you.
gym to do that.
Yeah. And if you have a trainer, whether it's financial or I don't know, maybe it's personal in your fitness or in your life, I don't know.
Some Bill witnessing your fitness.
Yes, witness the fitness. Send it to us at frugalfriendspodcast.com/Bill. We want to hear all about it.
Yeah. And,
Lift our spirits in this time.
and we will share it
Yes.
on this podcast.
Yes.
Well, now it's time for the lightning round.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a baby sleeping here,
Yes.
so we can't. Because this is our last time recording in the same room together. For now.
Sadness.
Okay.
All right. So for the lightning round, we are going to go over how to spend your stimulus check. Sorry to our international listeners. This is directed towards our U.S. listeners. But how to spend that stimulus check if you're getting one.
Yeah. If it's not already spent.
Right. And so I did a YouTube video on my channel, Modern Frugality, about the steps to go to, the order of operations. So whether you are overwhelmed because you have so many things that you need to pay that $1,200 won't cover it, or you're in an okay place and you're just looking for how to optimize the $1,200 or more that you're getting, walk through these steps, and we're just going to go through like a few of them today. In the lightning round, because it's quick, it's lightning.
It's lightning. The lightning round usually isn't that quick, but we're saying it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to say it.
So start with your 4 walls, as in what are your needs and your basic needs. So we're talking food, housing, utilities. Are you having difficulty covering those? Then certainly that's what this should go to.
Jill, I wrote down a 4th one and you
Yeah,
didn't read it.
I totally skipped over it because that's not a real thing.
So traditionally the 4 walls have been food, housing, utilities, and clothing, but like I do not believe clothing is one of those necessities.
What do you believe is one of the
I believe
necessities?
Netflix is the 4th necessity. And I if you believe me, can you please agree with me in the YouTube comments of this video?
I'm not going to tell people to spend their stimulus on Netflix.
Make sure that you're covering the 4
have
walls.
ethics and morals to adhere to.
Well, if you don't think I have any ethics,
No, you have your
or
own code of
morals,
ethics and moral
let me
compass
know.
that you're adhering
Let me
to.
know.
And I have mine.
okay. All right. So your 3 walls, if you live in a triangle house, I don't know.
I live in a camper, so it's kind of 2, and then like a curve that comes up and around and cocoons us from front to back.
Oh my God. Okay. So if you don't have any income coming in and you've exhausted all of your aid options, then use it on your 4 walls. If you have some coming in, whether from a salary or half salary or whatever, then use it for your emergency fund. You should be able to be your own stimulus. So you should have at least $500, up to 6 months of bare bones expenses, so maybe $15,000. I don't know what that looks like for you, but you need to have some money set aside, separate bank account that you do not carry the debit card for and you do not easily access for online shopping, and don't save the passwords in the
You
Google
barely
passwords.
know it's there.
Yeah. It's there in case you need it.
Nice.
Yeah.
The next is high interest debt. So if you've got debt to be paid that is collecting a lot of interest, then that's a good priority.
Over 6% is something that I would consider high interest. Personal loans, credit cards, and
certainly right now I know that student loan debt is like the interest rate is 0 right now.
Right.
But
so,
that won't last forever. So
right.
Yeah.
So use your discernment on that one. That is not covered in this lightning round.
Yeah.
But our final one is if you have an emergency fund, if you are debt free, and you still have money coming in, I would encourage you to give your stimulus check away. To give it away, because there are people who really needed more than $1,200 and they didn't get it.
Yeah.
And you can be the person that impacts people to the extent they need to be given to. So there are 3 ways that we are giving our check. We're giving 1/3 of it to our neighbors, so people directly to people in the local community. Just don't know who those people are, but
You'll find them.
yeah, we'll find them. Second is to local charities, so charities that directly help people in our community. And then the 3rd is local businesses. So divvying those up and trying to put it back into our community.
Yeah, that one I can get on board with. And again, if you're having trouble making your own ends meet, then yes, this is for you. If you're not, then please give it away. Consider being generous. It's money you were not anticipating having. It's certainly not for vacations, for the coolest clothing right now. Like, I mean, that's my personal opinion. You can fight me on it, but I think this is to help people sustain right now. Yeah, it's a stimulus check. Like, stimulate your community with it. So if you can. But yeah, so that's what we have. And if you got a lot out of this episode, if it taught you things that you needed to hear, the 5 weeks to 500 course pretty much goes through all of this and just goes deeper and tells you how to do it. So how to control impulse spending, how to transform your habitual spending, how to simplify things to effectively simplify your spending. And it's 5 modules, 5 coaching calls, and we do deep dives. So check it out, 5weeks-to500.com. Enrollment opens today, the 24th, and closes April 30th. And I would love to answer any questions you have about it. Just email me or message me on Instagram, and yeah, we'll talk about it. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. And we want to also thank you for your kind reviews that you're leaving us on iTunes and Stitcher. And we want to read one of them as an example. This one says, "Thanks for the inspiration." It's 5 stars. They say, "Love listening to y'all as I pay off my debt. Appreciated the different guests." AAP0009.
That's the name, not the part of the review.
That's the name. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, AA Poo9.
Yikes. So we also want to thank those of you who've been sharing the episodes on Facebook and Instagram. That helps get the word out and lets people know who's listening and why they should listen and what we have to offer. Yeah. So we are still doing our drawing for $10 Amazon gift cards. For every 5 social tags or reviews that we get, we are giving away $10.
Tagging the latest episode. So it's not just, Frugal Friends, here's a shout out. It is the latest episode. And also keep leaving us reviews on iTunes or Stitcher, and you can still send the screenshot to frugalfriendspodcast@gmail.com. That will also enter you to win the $10 Amazon gift card. So thanks, guys. Stay safe. Stay home, if that's still a thing, as anticipate it will be. Yeah. So, Be wise with your money. Be kind to yourself. Can we talk about that bug that has been harassing you this whole episode?
It's been I don't know if you could see it in the YouTube video.
Yeah, maybe they have. There, you might have seen it more than I did. There were a couple of times that I saw it fly by. I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore this thing.
Well, every time I look at you, it's
nested in my hair.
At this point, yeah, it's been all around you.
I have a nice aura.
Yeah, I'm gonna name it Neil.
That's an inside joke referencing an older gentleman who took a liking in me.
Yes, a keen liking to you. Have you
he
ever?
Was an old Scottish man.
If you've ever walked somewhere with Jill, and then a man says, "The pretty one," and doesn't look at you, and you know how I feel.
We've already gone over this. This is attention that you don't want. Like, we all know you're a dime piece.
But we all want all the attention always as a human.
From Neil. Not this time.
No.
Nope.
Well.
Nope. He wanted to hug me. He did hug me. He did
you.
Actually hug me. That happened. Yeah. We don't need to. I've blocked that out until now. Until the bugs started nesting in my hair.
I named it Neil. Oh.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Sweet.
So much to
Sweet Neil.
So much to talk. Sweet Neil. Sweet, sweet, precious Neil.
Neil.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.